Hey, welcome back, high level hustlers. Today's video is a part two of where do I even begin when it comes to high level. So, in the first video, I met with Heather and we went over her entire customer journey, her entire business, and we just figured out what is it that she kind of wants to have happen inside a high level. What do we need to automate? What can we automate? What are the different processes that are actually going to happen inside of her business so that we could figure it all out? Today's video is where I go over the detailed scoping document that we created from this discussion. In this document, we go over all the funnels she needs to build, all of the domains she needs to create, all of the automations detailed down to which triggers and which actions need to be done, everything. So be sure to watch through this. And if this is something that you think that you would be interested in having done for your business, go ahead and click the link below and schedule a time with me, and we'll be able to get started on figuring things out for you and your business and how to get everything rocking and rolling inside a high level. So enjoy this video. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Put them down in the comments below, and we'll see you in there. Okay, well, I'll just go ahead and share my screen. We can get started. Okay, you got that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is what we came up with based on the conversation we had last time. It's almost 30 pages. Lots and lots and lots of detail in here. And I'm sure that actually, even after going over this, you'll probably have some more questions, some more things that you might think of that you're like, oh, well, what about this? What about that? And we can make some tweaks to it as we need. But for the most part, this should give you everything that you need in order to implement high level, giving you that phone system, the booking system, automating your onboarding, and all of your client
Wow.
communications, and keeping track of all of your touch points. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So these are kind of the customer journeys that I came up with based on our conversation. So we have lead in, or what's also referred to here as just a new lead. Okay. And then, you're following up with that customer. Then they're going to either book an appointment. Based on that, they're going to show up to that appointment, and you're going to have some post follow up after that. Maybe they no show, maybe they cancel. A lot of times we're driving them to try and confirm their appointment. Maybe they reschedule. There's a bunch of different scenarios there surrounding appointments.
Are you sharing your screen on Zoom right now?
Oh, yeah. Are you not able to see it?
I don't see it on Zoom. I am seeing it on the document, but I figure you might want to also be sharing.
Oh, let me stop and reshare. I'm really glad you said that.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't want it to go that far without. There,
Oh,
it looks like it's starting now.
you can see it now?
I can.
Okay. Okay. Glad we can see that. Okay, yeah. So there's the different journeys that we were talking about there. All those are different appointment book type scenarios. But then after that is invoice sent and contract sent.
Okay.
And then there's either won or lost, and there's also abandoned. I don't remember if we talked about the difference between an abandoned and a lost lead.
Is a lot is a
But what an
loss.
abandoned lead is pretty much that means that they've either ghosted you or you're kind of giving up on that lead essentially. Okay. They're you've tried to reach out several times and they're just not getting back to you, so it's an abandoned lead. It can help keep track of your conversion rates a little bit better because you didn't technically lose that opportunity because you know maybe they don't have the budget, you weren't able to explain the services well enough or whatever. It shouldn't count against your conversion rating, so we mark it as abandoned rather than lost. So
And loss would be a no. You
lost is a no, whether it's bad timing, I don't have the budget, this isn't what I was looking for,
said.
whatever, that's what lost is in that sales process. And then from there, a 45-day drip campaign that can go to either the lost or the abandoned leads to be able to try and re engage them and drive them towards booking another appointment. So, um, and then does that all make sense?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Same thing pretty much with the registration for a webinar. Webinar and workshop is kind of used interchangeably in this document, just so you're aware. They register for the webinar, and then from there, we're trying to get them to either buy or book. So it's kind of the same exact journey. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's your certification. Wasn't quite sure. Are you calling it a breakthrough certification, or what are you going to call that?
It'll be branded under my company, so shift up.
Shift up
Probably have
certification.
something. Yeah, I'll have something probably a little bit more creative, but yes, it'll be.
Okay, shift up certification. And then there's a finished certification type of thing. Okay, so we want to be sending out reviews as well as some things when they finish up. So here's what your pipeline is going to look like. You're going to have a sales pipeline, new leads, follow ups. They've scheduled the appointment. Now they're in follow up afterwards. Contract sent, invoice sent, won, lost, or abandoned. It's very similar to that customer journey, but this is what the actual pipeline will look like.
Okay.
And let me pull up what that is real quick for you so that we can make sure that we're on the same page as far as what that means. So when I say pipeline, that's this right here, the opportunities. Okay. And what you'll need to do is either change this pipeline by editing it and editing these steps. That's what this is. These are the steps in the pipeline,
Okay.
or just creating a new one. I don't know. I don't. It doesn't look like you're using this one, so you could just edit it, or you could delete it and create a brand new one. It doesn't matter. But so a pipeline that I would say mark it as sales because it is referenced as the sales pipeline throughout the rest of this document.
Okay.
Forms. You'll likely need at least 3 different forms. You'd need one for webinar registrations, your lead magnet opt-ins, as well as just a main website contact us page. Okay.
Yeah.
And those forms are created under sites and then form and under the builder here. Okay.
Okay.
And then each of these have a numbering for them so that if they're referenced later, you'll see that there's like in an automation, you'll see, oh, we're gonna be doing the trigger for this is the form has been filled out and the form is F001. Then you know what those automations, what they're referring to. Okay.
Okay.
Invoices. This is going to be an invoice template um, with your same amount, with the due date as the same day because it's due upon receipt type thing. You're not sending out an invoice and saying it's due 2 weeks later. It's due the day that you send out the invoice. And we would just name that as I001 for your invoice template. And you get there by coming here to payments and then invoice templates and creating a new template right here. As far as the settings go, this is the next step right here. This is just some suggested settings, and you get there by just coming here to payments, invoices, and then settings. There's a whole ton of settings in here. These are the very bare minimum ones that I recommend.
Okay.
Contracts, you'll need to create a contract for your certification when someone's going to purchase. You will do that under the same area of payments and then contracts and then templates, and then you'll create a new template right here.
And it'll do e-signatures and stuff inside of Go High Level.
Yep, that's what the contract is for collecting those. And so then once they're sent out, you'll see that, oh, I have so many that are out for signature waiting for others, so many that are completed and so forth.
And is it automatically kept with their customer, right? Like, so once they sign, like if I go into their client information, that contract will be listed and everything. That's awesome.
Yep, definitely. Quizzes, I just kept this one. I wasn't quite sure what exactly you were going to create for another quiz, but this is where you could list out additional quizzes if you wanted to. Calendars, I suggested 3 calendars, a game plan calendar that's set up as a round robin. And that round robin calendar, you can add all the team members in a rotation for sales calls. Even if you're the only person taking sales calls, I would create this as a round robin calendar so that in the future you can take yourself off of that calendar, put other people on that calendar if you wanted to. Okay.
Okay.
Even if you only start with just yourself on that calendar, that's okay. I would create it as a round robin calendar. And then I did say, it'd probably be a good idea for both you and Cam to set up personal calendars as well.
Okay.
A phone number, a 385 phone number that you're going to want to get A2P registration for. I suggest going with a low volume. Once you start going through the A2P registration, you'll understand a little bit more what that means, but it will require that you have your EIN and a website with these 4 pages at a minimum, and
Okay.
you have to have a business email at theshiftup.com. You can't have like theshiftup@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You have to have a at theshiftup.com email address accompanying your website in order for it to work.
Okay.
Otherwise, A2P won't go through. They won't authorize you for it. So
Mm.
integrations. This is where you're going to want to put in your business Facebook and Instagram. I suggest Stripe for your payments if you haven't set that up yet. Get your Google calendars in there, or if you're using Office 365, get your Outlook calendar integrated. And then Zoom as an optional if you're going to be using Zoom. Otherwise, you can use Google Meet.
Okay.
So it's up to you. Google Meet comes as part of Google Workspace if you're going to sign up for um, the Google Workspace to be your email provider for your shiftup.com email addresses. So then you wouldn't have the additional expense of Zoom if you don't want it, but a lot of people really prefer Zoom, so it's up to you. Domains. There's a lot of different domains that I suggest. These are ones that you're going to have to go in and create on in the DNS settings for your website. This is what I would suggest for your email sending domain. Here's your website, and this would be for your funnels. This is your branded domain. And then these are some URL redirects that I just recommend. I always recommend putting all of your funnels on a funnel subdomain and then using redirects to be able to redirect to your funnels. So like this free gift, rather than creating your first lead magnet and like solidly attaching the domain free gift to it, I suggest using a redirect because then if you decide to swap out what you want that free gift to be, it's really easy to come in and just swap out what funnel that this URL points to rather
Gotcha.
than having to like, I'm going to detach this URL from this funnel and then reattach it to a different funnel and it can cause all kinds of problems. So I recommend using URL redirects for those.
Okay.
And then the community for your online community. Reputation settings, that's over here under reputation. This is where you can collect reviews. We talked about this a little bit, I think, that you would use Facebook to collect reviews. So these are some settings that I recommend, as well as where the review link should be going, what your SMS request should be, and your email request. So all of that is just in these settings right here. It's pretty much just going through each of these sections for you is what this is.
Okay.
Memberships, I left this pretty vague because this is so custom to the way you want to do it, but it's pretty straightforward on how to create that community. And then that you would need to come in and create a certificate. You can get there by going to memberships and then certificates, and then you can just create a new certificate right here.
So it has templates in there and you just basically can put in
Yep. You can come in
logo.
here and choose certificate templates, and you can use an existing template to create one, or you can just create one from scratch. It's up to you.
That's cool.
Courses. This is what I would recommend for your webinar replay is that you host it as a course. And I do have a YouTube video on how to create specifically how to create a webinar replay as a course, like step-by-step instructions on how to do that on my YouTube channel that you can do. Your website, shiftup.com, suggest having at least a home about a contact us page with form 001 that we talked about earlier, a services page, and then a terms and conditions and privacy policy page. These two are required if you want to get A2P certified and get your phone number in order to start sending it text messages. I can get you a template for these. Again, it's just a template. It has worked for getting A2P, but if you really need a real terms and conditions and privacy policy, talk to a lawyer. So, I'm cruising through this. Let me know if this makes sense or if you have any questions. Just stop me, okay?
I'm sure there'll be lots of questions.
I'm sure. Okay, funnels. This is the webinar registration funnel. Um, I've done a bunch of research on webinars, and there's been a whole lot of research done by others. Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern is usually the best time overall to hold a webinar. So there should be there should already be a template for this inside of your account. If we look over here, here it is. It's already created as if it's Marianne's, but you can very easily open up this public speaking free live workshop. Come in here and you can just edit this and make it your own to be able to be a webinar or workshop type login page or registration page. Okay. So that exists for you. That's the one funnel that I would recommend having for your webinars. And then there's the lead magnet one. I did put in here for an upsell to a cheap $27 course.
Mhm.
This is optional. It helps you gauge hot leads. You know, if someone goes and they grab your free ebook, but then you offer them an upsell for a $27 cheap course and they buy it, you know that's a really engaged and hot lead. So I if you're able to create something super simple to be able to do there, I would. And then a confirmation page if there's no purchase, and an order confirmation page if there is, both having instructions on how to access the email or access the ebook in their email. But this last one also having instructions on how to access the course. So they're two different pages, just slightly different. Trigger links. Trigger links are a way for you to be able to track if someone clicks on a link you send them through a text message or an email. It's pretty awesome because you can do all kinds of cool things with them. Like you can say, if someone clicks on this trigger link, then add a tag to them so you can tell if someone clicks on the link or not. But anyway, these are the different trigger links that I recommend that you create so that you can track when people click on these links. And you'll see them referred to quite often in the workflows and automations. Especially this one, TL002, is referring to a trigger link that points to your game plan calendar.
Okay.
And actually, that just made me think of one more URL redirect that we need to add in here. Oh, I already have it right there. Okay, never mind. I am smart enough to have remembered that. Slash game plan goes to the game plan calendar. Okay, so let's head back over here. And then affiliate manager. This can be very, very unique to what you want to do, but I do have a YouTube video that talks about how to create an affiliate program. So you can check out that video and go create one if you want to.
Okay.
Now to the meat of this, all of the automations that make all of these things that you would be building out actually work. Okay. So this is the very first one. This is the ebook delivery. This is when someone opts in for your lead magnet. Okay. So this is where the trigger would be the form submitted and form is F002. The first action, create an opportunity. We see that we're going to create it in sales. In the pipeline, it's going to be lead in or new lead. The opportunity name is going to be their full name with the source being the funnel, and the lead value is 9997 with it as an open opportunity. Definitely want to add the tag of where it came from, assign it an owner. This is essentially like assigning the lead, right? So if you have, when you get to the point where you have like a sales staff, maybe,
Mhm.
then you would replace your name or both yours and Cam's names in here with the names of your sales staff, and then it would round robin assign those to the different salespeople so that you don't have to be like, okay, we got 10 new leads today. I'm going to give two to this person, two to this person, two to this person. This just automatically assigns out the leads.
Okay.
Okay. Then we're going to send an email. This email is going to have a link to the ebook, which is going to be hosted in the media storage section. That's right here in media storage. I recommend you upload your PDF of your ebook to the media storage, and then you can get the link to it and then link to it inside your email template. And then, of course, have a CTA to book the call using the trigger link. And then send a text message that tells them to go check their email and spam just in case for their book, as well as a CTA to book the call with your trigger link. Okay. And then it creates a task to call the lead. These are good leads for you. So I figured it would probably be really good for you to be able to start having tasks created that it's like, okay, now I know I need to call this lead. Okay, and it's due now. And it's gonna automatically get assigned to whoever owns that contact. If you're the only person doing sales, it's just gonna assign them to you every time. It's gonna do the assignment of this task is gonna be based on this action up here.
Okay.
And then it's going to wait a day. And then it's going to check if they've booked a call by checking if they have the tag game plan, because you'll see in a different workflow down here, when they book a call, it adds the tag game plan. So if they include the game plan tag, we're going to exit this workflow. We don't want to keep following up with them. But if they don't, we're going to continue on in the workflow. And this is where it's going to get a little repetitive. We're going to create another task to call the lead. We're going to send them another email, and we're going to send them another text. Wait a day, check if they've booked a call, create the task to call the lead, send an email, send a text. Wait a day, same thing, and we do that 5 times.
Okay.
Okay. And at the end of that, we're going to add them to workflow A015. And we can see right here, A015 is the 45-day drip campaign.
Okay.
So if they make it all the way to day 5 and they haven't actually booked a call yet, they're going to get added to the workflow to just go into the drip campaign. Does that make sense?
Does.
Okay. Awesome. Next one is appointment booked. Okay. This is where when someone books an appointment on the calendar and it's the game plan calendar that you've created, then and the appointment status has changed as a normal event. This is 2 different triggers, okay? The reason we need 2 different triggers is we want to know if the customer books the appointment or if a user, not a contact, a user, that means you or Cam or someone else on your team, if a user modifies a calendar appointment, we still want them to go through this step, because if someone texts you and says, "Hey, I can't make it. Can I meet with you another day?" and you go change their appointment, then we still want this to fire off, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
And you can have 2 different triggers in the same workflow.
Okay.
Okay? So we're going to automatically remove the tag no-show, and we'll see why in just a minute, but we want to remove the no-show tag, add the game plan tag. We're going to find the opportunity, and we're going to update that opportunity to appointment scheduled. We're going to move it into that new stage in the pipeline automatically when they book a call. Okay? And if it can't find the opportunity, it's going to shoot you a text that says, "Hey, there's been a new appointment booked with this person and they might not have an opportunity. Go see if you can find it and update it. Otherwise, you'll need to create an appointment." Okay. And then it's going to go to the next step here, which is send the SMS. This is just pretty much we want to include the appointment start date and time and a reschedule link and a CTA to reply confirmed to ensure they have their spot. This is just another way to ensure that someone is going to actually show up to their appointment, that as soon as they book their appointment, you're asking them, "Hey, will you just reply confirmed just to let me know that you're really, really certain that you're going to come to this," okay? And then same thing on the email. And then we're going to wait. And what's really cool is you can add a wait step in here to be waiting based on the event appointment time. So we can wait until 1 day before and skip all outbound communications if it's less than a day before.
Okay.
So it'll send a 24-hour reminder. But if they book an appointment less than 24 hours, it's not like they're going to get hit with a "thanks for joining" or "thanks for booking your appointment. Here's your 24-hour reminder." And then that doesn't make sense, right? We want it to skip the 24 hours. So if we're less than 24 hours. So that's what this is. But if then they get a 1-day reminder, then we're going to wait. They're going to get a 1-hour reminder, and then we're going to wait. They're going to get a 10-minute reminder. We're going to wait, and then they're going to get a 1-minute reminder that says, "Your meeting is starting now. Be sure to join." with a link to the appointment location, which when you set up your calendar, the appointment location is going to be either Google Meet or a Zoom link based on how you set up your calendars.
That only happens when they don't respond to confirm.
Even
The
if they do respond to confirm.
Okay.
If they
Well,
respond to confirm, this will all happen whether or not they respond confirm.
okay. Okay. Even
Okay,
the 10-minute reminder, the 1 hour reminder, it all goes out.
it all goes out
Okay.
unless they cancel. If they cancel their appointment, then this stops. If they reschedule their appointment, this stops.
Okay.
Okay, appointment showed. This is where you're pretty much going to. All it really does is update the pipeline to be able to move it over into. Okay, we're now in the post appointment follow up, and then we're going to wait a day. We're going to check if it includes the tag certification. And if it doesn't, then we're going to create a task to call them. Okay. We want to call, so it's going to create a task to contact the lead. So pretty much what this does is it's checking if they've bought. You finished the appointment. Now it's checking if they've bought. If they did not buy, then it's going to create a task for you every day to contact that lead, either by calling them, texting them, or emailing them. And this will happen for 2 weeks until you mark it won or lost.
Okay.
Okay. And this is just, that's all this is just creating tasks to follow up. So repeat these last 3 steps every day until it gets marked until they buy. Okay, next one is a no-show. Really quickly, pretty much what this means is if you mark the calendar appointment as a no-show, they're going to get tagged as no-show. They're going to get a ringless voicemail from you. Are you familiar with those?
No, I don't think so. Like
Oh,
it'll just go to straight to voicemail.
it'll just drop a voicemail in their voicemail box without the phone even ringing.
Oh,
It's
that's
kind of a cool thing. It's a cool feature. So you can just drop a voicemail in their voicemail box, and I kind of wrote you a script here. You just record it on your phone, upload the MP3 file, and now it's able to do it. Okay. And
cool.
then sending them a text message, an email, trying to get them to rebook. And it's constantly checking every time it waits for a day. And then it's going to check if that tag no show is there still. And if we remember in the appointment booked, the very first thing it does is remove the no show tag. So if
Mhm.
someone rebooks the appointment, if they're in this no show workflow, and then they end up rebooking, it's going to remove the no-show tag. So then they'll exit this workflow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is pretty much detailing out, we're going to send a text, we're going to send an email. It's going to create the task to call them. We're going to wait another day, do the same thing. We're going to wait another day, do the same thing. And then we're going to wait 2 weeks and we're going to do the same thing again. And we're going to send another ringless voicemail type thing. Okay. Next stage, we send them an invoice. Okay, here's the trigger to be able to send out this invoice. We're going to send out template I001 that we talked about in the beginning over here with the invoice templates, and we're going to add the tag. This tag is pretty much what lets the system know that we can easily check that an invoice has been sent.
Okay.
And then once an invoice has been paid and that person has tag I001, then we know to send out this contract. Okay. Now, once the contract's been sent, then we want to wait 2 days, check if it's been signed, and if it hasn't, send them email and text reminders to sign. Wait 2 days, send them a reminder to text by text and email to sign. Wait 2 days, send the reminder. Wait 2 days, send the reminder. Wait 2 days, send the reminder type thing. So at this point, we're like 10 days past the time that they sent the email, they got the contract in the first place. They darn well better sign the contract by they've paid the invoice at this point. Like they just need to sign it.
Okay.
Okay, then it's going to get marked as one once this contract has been signed and accepted. And this is where we're going to go mark that opportunity as one. And then you're going to get we're going to add the tag that they've um, purchase the certification course, send them a congratulations text. We're going to send them that day zero email in that thing that you sent me. Okay. We're going to grant them access to the Shift Up community that we've created. And then we're going to wait a day and we're going to send that, and we're going to send out these emails that you outlined in that other document you gave me. Okay.
Okay.
Now, if we mark them as lost, so either lost or abandoned, we're going to add them to the 45-day drip campaign. That's pretty much, this is a very simple workflow, but that's what this is. Now the 45-day workflow. Okay, this one can get really, 45 days, we could have made this go, I could have, this, if I would have actually written this whole thing out, it would have been 50 pages long. Pretty much what this is you wait a day, you check if they've had a game plan. If they have, they exit. If they haven't, we continue and we send them an email. We repeat that for 45 days. Every 7 days, include a text message with a CTA with your trigger link that
Yeah.
goes to your calendar, and you just continue on repeating that for 45 days.
Yeah.
Check if you wait a day, check if they've scheduled. If they haven't, send them an email. Wait a day, check if they've scheduled, send them an email. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Webinar registration, same thing. Form submitted, form 003 is going to add the tag webinar. We're going to add the tag Thursday workshop. We're going to send them a welcome text. We're going to send them a welcome email. And then we're going to try and get them to book a call with us. Even though they haven't even been to the webinar yet, we'd still like to try and see if we can book a call with them. And then there's an action item in here called set event start date and time. You will need to update this every time you run a webinar, okay? You'll have to remember to come in here and update just this one little step.
Okay.
And then it's going to create a new opportunity. It's going to then wait until 4 days before the event. This is why it's so important to update that event time, because it's going to send out the 4-day email, 4-day reminder email 4
Yeah.
days before the event. Then it's going to send a 1-day reminder email and text, and then you're going to have a 1-hour reminder email and text, and then a start time email and text. And then we're going to wait. I put in here an hour and 15 minutes, assuming that your webinar is only going to be a 1-hour max webinar. Okay. And what it does at that point is it then checks if we've included invoice 001 as a tag, meaning has this person been sent the invoice? If they have been sent the invoice, then we just drop them out of this workflow. But if they haven't been sent the invoice yet, then they get the Thursday night buy reminder email. And then we wait till the next morning and we give them access to the replay, and then send them a Friday morning text and email reminder to buy. And then we're going to wait till Friday night and do the same thing. Then we're going to wait till Saturday morning, do the same thing. Saturday night is the last time they get that. And then Saturday night, if they still haven't bought, we're going to add them to the 45-day drip campaign, but then we're also going to add them to B002. And this is the webinar non-buyer's invite to the next webinar and reminders. Again, you need to reset the event start time, and then it's going to send them a text that says, I'm excited to be holding another training. Check your email for more details. And then there's a non-buyer re-registration email. Pretty much you're automatically re-registering everyone who attended your last webinar for the next one.
Okay.
And then sending out notifications 4 days before, 1 day before, 10 minutes, or 1 hour, 10 minutes, and day of. And then same thing. Friday night or Thursday night buy reminder, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon.
So if you don't have another webinar planned, you just don't include that tag.
Yeah, you could just skip that last one, right? Or you just pause this.
Okay.
You can add them to this,
Mm-hmm.
but then just make sure you leave it as paused.
Oh, okay.
And then as soon as you have that next webinar
Then it'll
set,
automatically do it for them.
yep, you set that date, unpause this, and then boom, they start running through it again.
Okay.
Okay. And then the last part here, I created a couple of them here for you for breakthrough certification review requests. This is if someone you would need to add the tag review request, or on this last one is they finish the certification and you have added the tag certification complete. It's going to issue them the certificate that you created that template for and add the tag review request. And the review request is then going to kick off this, which sends them a text message asking them for a rating 1 through 5. watches for a reply, and if they reply a 1, 2, or 3, it's going to just send you a text and say, hey, someone was unsatisfied. Go reach out to them and figure out why.
Got it. Okay.
If they respond with a 4 or 5, then it's going to send them the review request text message and email that we set up in the reputation settings over here. It's going to send them those review requests that you previously set up. Okay. And
Okay.
then I did add right here a certification called class reminders. We could do this one. I didn't finish this one because I wasn't quite sure if you wanted that or if you were going to be doing calls like the same day and time every day for a couple of weeks or something like that. But this is an optional one that I could finish building this out if you want like a weekly
Oh,
call
the
reminder
okay,
text
yeah.
message to go out.
Yeah, that is actually super helpful and would, yeah.
Okay. I will finish building that one out and then I think I'm done. Is there anything that you feel like I have missed? I just hit you with a fire hose of information, but
Yeah, I can't think of anything. This feels so like, I mean, I'm just sitting here thinking like, what happens to the people that don't know to do this? Do you
that
know what
don't
I
know
mean?
to build all this out.
Yeah, like so much opportunity missed, so much, or trying to do it themselves without automating it. So this is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest tragedy with high level is that people just sometimes feel so overwhelmed they don't even know where to start
Mhm.
and they don't know what to build, which is what I'm here for. Help
Yeah.
people build it out. So, yeah.
No, this is fantastic. I'm glad I have a somewhat techie husband to help me decode some of the things that I might not understand later, but this is great.
Yeah. And if you have questions on it, you can feel free to hit me up with any questions you have on if, something doesn't make sense, but I hope that it does to be able to walk you through like it should be walking through exactly like here's the trigger, here's the next action, here's the next action. And you just got to go in and build that out.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and
Mm,
because you're a part of brought in under our agency, you should have a lot of these templates actually already created inside of your account. So you just have to update a lot of these.
that is fantastic. That's a lot of work. This
It
is,
it can be, yeah, it can, and there's still a lot of work to do,
yeah.
but
No,
this
this
at
is
least
so
hopefully gives
good.
you the map that you need.
Yeah, because no, this is really, really helpful because just looking at it, it's like, yeah, like you said, I don't know exactly where to start, but this is definitely an in-depth way to start and have a great foundation.
Yeah, and if you just start at the top and work your way down, by the time you're finished at the very end of this document, building everything that's in this document, you're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah. Hmm. I'm excited. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
So good.
Thank you for the opportunity to do this with you.
Oh, no. Well, you're welcome, but they owe you a lot more. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, I hope you found that video helpful. If this is something you think you need for your business and you want to spend some time going through this like for yourself and for your business, go ahead and click the link down below to be able to schedule a time with me or shoot me a text 385-462-0102 and let's schedule a time to be able to go through your business in this detail and get things rocking and rolling for you. As always, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions, and we'll catch you in the next video.